In this tutorial, I want to show you how you can create a Photoshop mock-up for a t-shirt that allows you to change the color of the t-shirt and also place your graphics on top of it. Now this works well for any color starting shirt, but notice that I've used a white shirt as my base. Later on, if you've got a different color shirt, I'll show you how you can tweak those colors to make the same changes. So I'm going to open up my t-shirt mock-up in Photoshop. And the first thing I need to do is to be able to select the shirt itself so I can isolate just those colors. The quickest and easiest way to do that is to use your quick selection tool. Now with this tool, I could click and drag over the t-shirt area, but the newest update to Photoshop allows you to quickly select simple subjects. So at the very top, I'm going to choose Select Subject, and you can see how it'll automatically recognize the shirt that's on here. Now if you had a more complex subject, especially if there's a person or other things in the background, your results may be slightly different. Now in this selection, you can see that it also picked up part of the hanger and even part of the background. So I want to be able to clean up that selection, and we'll do it later once we create a layer mask. Next, we want to be able to add a color adjustment that will allow us to select whatever color that we want. So in our adjustments panel, choose the Hue and Saturation Adjustment. When we add this, because we had our t-shirt outlined, it'll automatically add the Hue and Saturation Adjustment, and it will mask off the shirt area. From here, have a look in your Properties panel. Check on Colorize to automatically add color to the area, and now you can play around with different colors, their saturation, and even lights and darks to it. From here, to further enhance the effect, in your Layers panel with the Hue and Saturation change or adjustment layer selected, change your blending mode to Multiply to blend in the highlights and shadows. Now if you're using a different color t-shirt other than the white that I'm using for my example, such as gray or a color or even black, you'll need to change up to a different blending mode. If you're using a color t-shirt, I suggest using the color or the hue blending mode so that it picks up on the color and is able to change it up based on whatever you have for your adjustment layer. If you have black, I suggest using either overlay or screen to pick up on the lighter colors that are inside of that shirt. Do note that black shirts are harder to change the color on simply because there's not a lot of pixel information and color graphics to make the changes. So usually a white or a color shirt tends to be the best to start with. This will also make it easier to unmask the area of the hanger that was accidentally selected. So I'm going to zoom into that area. Make sure the layer mask is selected on this layer, and use your paintbrush tool. Wherever you paint white will unmask or mask in an area, and wherever you paint black will unmask that area. That's what we want. So very carefully, I'm going to go through and paint on and unmask the area that has the hanger and the background. With this done, let's rename this layer Adjust Color. Now we can create a Smart Object layer to place our logo design into. From here, I'll use my rectangle tool. Make sure you're working in shape mode with a fill color and no stroke. And I'm simply going to click and drag over the printed area that I want to place my graphics. Before we do anything else, convert this rectangle to a Smart Object. Now we can rename it Place Graphic Here. Let's test it out. Double click on your Smart Object layer and let's place the image that we can test it with. In our case, it'll be the test of our logo. We can scale it up. We do need to remove the rectangle layer, so I'm going to trash it and have only my test logo in the center. When I save it and close it out, now I can see what the graphic would look like inside of that area. Once I know the test works, we can turn off this logo and save this up as a Photoshop file. Do make sure you've got Photoshop as the format so it saves the layers And this Photoshop file is what you'll turn in for an exercise grade.